So when I started learning Rust, I was often fighting with the borrow checker and fighting to get code compiling. And the way I would solve that all the time was to just clone things, which I'm now starting to realize is a little wasteful. Let's start a little experiment here. Okay, so the usual Rust project, and we run it, and it says hello world. So let's edit this. Let's add our own structure that we want to pass around. And this is going to be a very simple structure that just contains a string. Nothing else, nothing more than that. And then let's make one of those. Let container equals string container. And we can have s is hello to string. And let's print this out. So ctr.s equals ctr.s. And this should do the obvious thing. Yep, it just prints hello. But what if we create a function that does that printing for us? And we need to accept a string. No, I don't want to call it s. A string container. And from this, we want to print it. And just do the same thing as before, ctr.s. And let's call it, what do I print? Container ctr. Okay, and this should work as expected. Good. But what if I uncomment this line? So the problem here, you can see my editor's already telling me there's errors. And the problem here is that ownership is taken here. So ctr, which is created here, ownership is given to print container, and print container, when it ends here, then ctr is dropped. So it doesn't exist here. I can't print it out. And I can show that building. And of course it gives the complaint about the ownership. So what I would do in the past, what I would do in the past is to make this clonable. And then it passes a new version, so now it compiles and it even runs. But I'm learning that that's the wrong thing to do, because that's creating this extra struct, which takes time and it takes memory, when I don't actually need to do that, because I'm not doing anything with it apart from printing it. So let's go back to where we were a moment ago, and instead all I need to do is pass a reference, which is very cheap. Cargo run. And it runs, because print container no longer takes ownership of it. It just borrows it. And that we have full control here. We could take a mutable reference to this. I make this mutable and I make this mutable. And then in here I could, do I remember how to do this? ctr.s.push string and run this. I still don't have to create anything new, and you can see that this is mutable. I can copy and paste this here and you can see it mutate. So I never actually had to take ownership of that object. Instead I just pass a reference, and passing a reference is so much cheaper. And I think you can kind of see, you get a better feeling for that if I go all the way back to the beginning here, just undo, undo, undo. And instead of writing this function, instead if I implement something on the string container, print self this will have the same problem as before. I need like this, and instead I can do ctr.print. And this will have the same problem with ownership as before, because I am taking ownership. But here you would never think of adding a .clone here, would you? That starts to feel very artificial. Instead, what you would do is take a reference to self. And of course that's not going to compile because I forgot to change that. So then what you would do is you take a reference to self, and then it works. Okay, so that's my little exploration of Rust ownership. You don't need to clone everything all the time. Cloning is expensive. Instead, pass references where you can. Thank you very much.